masih banyak ada baca saya punya kredensial yang dulu. Tapi itu disitek itu tidak tepat lah. Yang kata what it is now. Dan komitmen saya accept sebagai semacam cek. Tapi dulu ialah dia kata menjadikan presiden yang Arif Datuk Yaakob, yang Arif Datuk Haji Muhammad Naim, Profesor Dr. ini, Puan Hajah Azizah, tuan-tuan dan tuan-tuan sekalian. I'm happy for given the opportunity to be here this morning. And the subject is very vast. So sometimes it becomes too general. It doesn't become effective. But I must say that it is a special occasion to be here and be with important personalities, to hear the views of many NGOs that I hope are present. We don't meet often enough between those that hate bodies and the ones that are active on the ground. In the whole process of national consensus in Malaysia sometimes do not go the way we should. Because we do not have, as a society, we do not have the propensity to want to consult each other to that extent. If other countries around us are able to find national consensus much better than us in Malaysia. But anyway, let's not wander around away from the subject. I would like to talk about the National Human Rights Action Plan. I found out that this came from a recommendation that Malaysia was part of in 1993. We're talking about 23 years ago. Malaysia committed itself to the various recommendations of the Vienna Declaration, Program of Action. And that declaration included many recommendations and suggestions which gave role to many groups, actors, and activists to take part to promote and protect human rights. These recommendations are not binding, but because they were accepted as a general consensus in a unanimous fashion in 1993, 23 years ago. And over the years, it is very clear that the people of the world, citizens of many countries, have strongly supported the programs enunciated through the Vienna Congress. Therefore, it is not easy for governments not to want to practice and operationalize what has been recommended in the Vienna Declaration. That declaration, I can quote paragraph 2 of part 2 of paragraph 71. And I quote, "The World Conference on Human Rights recommends that each state can consider the desirability of drawing up a national action plan identifying steps whereby that state shall improve the promotion and protection of human rights." That is a very clear signal on the role of every state in this world. That concept of the National Human Rights Action Plan revolves around the view that long-term improvement of human rights, promotion and protection at the country level ultimately relies upon the commitment of the government and the people to effect positive change. The NHRAP, the action plan, would embrace the desired right outcome in the context of public policy to enable the government and the civil society to mutually envisage a coherent strategy to improve the level of promotion and protection of human rights within nations. That's a very, very big order. Therefore, ultimately, the achievement of the objectives of the action plan will enable the government to simultaneously achieve other national objectives, including social harmony, economic advancement and development, and these are inevitably linked to various aspects of human rights. It is important to say the link between human rights and other development of the nation and the people. It is a few situations. SeHAM was informed by the government of Malaysia of its agreement to develop an action plan October 2010, several years since the commitment of the Malaysian government to the Vienna Congress in 1993. Well, SeHAM, of course, commends the effort of the government to develop an NHRAP. SeHAM, we are of the view that such a plan should have been developed much sooner. As since 2002, SeHAM has been advocating for the development of such a plan. In effect, if we agreed in 1993, it was the responsibility of SeHAM is also in evidence. We didn't do our job. Because it took us so many years in 2002 before we would write to the government about the action plan. The Philippines developed its first NHRAP in 1996. And Indonesia and Thailand developed theirs 1998 and 2009 respectively. At this stage, this late stage, SeHAM appeals and urges the government to show true commitment, to be among the same rank of the 38 other countries that have developed an action plan of their own, among them Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia. As Malaysia moves towards achieving the status of a developed country, economic growth and prosperity indeed are vital as accomplishments of the nation. But to be really proud and consolidated, you need to embrace fully all aspects of human rights and human dignity. In 2013, SeHAM was invited as a member of the NHRAP Steering Committee. The first Steering Committee meeting was held on 2nd December 2013 and was attended by representatives of various government agencies, SeHAM and academia. Since then, SeHAM has attended at least 6 Steering Committee meetings. Based on the terms of reference, the Steering Committee would meet twice a year and usually be chaired by a minister in the Prime Minister's department. Since the government's announcement that it would develop Malaysia's action plan, SeHAM has been active in urging for this process to be expedited, in addition to making several submissions to propose the parameters and substance of the action plan. But maybe SeHAM was also at fault because we are not effective enough with urging the government. But the process has been glacially slow. Originally, the development of the action plan was expected to begin in 2013 and conclude in 2016, followed by the NHRAP's implementation in the year after, 2017. However, it was only in November 2015, during the biennial meeting of the Action Plan Steering Committee, it was announced that an external consultant, Hazizah and Co., has been commissioned by the Legal Affairs of the Prime Minister's Department to develop the action plan, with the complete draft to be presented to BHEUU in April 2017, which would therefore require a deferment of the action plan's implementation date. Bearing in mind that the first steering committee meeting of the action plan was in December 2013, it was agreed that the development of the action plan would be completed in 2016, and that means the implementation phase of the action plan would begin from 2017 to 2021. SeHAM would urge the government to ensure that the development of the plan by the consultant strictly adheres to the timeline given, which is within 18 months, so as to avoid further delay. SeHAM and other interested bodies, groups, do not know how thorough the consultants, the consultations have been in dealing with various sectors of people and government. This is something perhaps that the seminar today can look at. The next question that arises is what will happen after the completion of the draft of the action plan? Whether the draft need to go through certain processes before it could be finalized and obtain approval of the cabinet. And how long would the process take? SeHAM was made to understand that a special committee consisting of representatives of the ministries and government agencies would be established by the steering committee to go through the draft before it would be finalized. SeHAM hopes that such a process should be carried out expeditiously and will not incur further delay. I must admit that until today, SeHAM is not certain about the outcome of the proposed action plan and how it would be operationalized. A successful action plan will not be judged by what it looks or the size of the documents, but rather what its goals and objectives are met through concrete measures and would actually strengthen aspects of human rights in this country. Nevertheless, it is important for the action plan to receive clear and unequivocal support from the highest levels of government, so that we can avoid the situation of parts and pieces of the action plan not being implemented. The action plan must be action-oriented. While the action plan may be considered as an instrument of policy to chart the direction of human rights, it should nonetheless clearly outline the current situation of human rights, while proposing a clear line of action to address issues and concerns. Thus, the plan should stipulate the nature of the action to be taken, the authority, entity responsible for taking such actions, and also clarify the expected time frame on the implementation. Furthermore, the plan should include a mechanism for monitoring and self-evaluation to ensure continuous human rights protection following the expiration of the plan. There should also include a mechanism for internal review as practiced by other national plans. This review mechanism will help in the formulation of priorities for the next plan, which would begin immediately upon the conclusion of this plan. SeHAM, being one of the steering committee members of NHRAP since 2013, has submitted several proposals to the government for consideration. For instance, in 2020, SeHAM submitted a proposal paper outlining its research on the standard of preparatory process of developing an action plan based on recommendations from the United Nations to provide an indication of the important points and main issues which could be included in the plan formulated, along with examples of plans adopted by other countries in the Asia-Pacific region. SeHAM also submitted a proposal paper to map out the action plan with the Universal Periodic Review, UPR, by outlining the recommendations adopted by the government during the second UPR process in 2014 and mapping them with the core thrust of the proposed action plan, which has been agreed to by the steering committee. SeHAM believes if the government were to respond to and prioritize the UPR recommendations accepted in full at the second UPR, it would essentially reflect the 5 core thrusts of the action plan, namely civil and political rights, economic, social, religion, and cultural rights, and what is very important to SeHAM, the rights of vulnerable groups and the rights of indigenous people, and international obligations, as well as newly incorporated special chapter on Sabah and Sarawak in the proposed National Action Plan. Well, action plans should be tailored according to specific circumstances of the country. What we call here Acuan Malaysia. Ultimately, certain international human rights principles must remain applicable to the action plan. A credible action plan must be built on a commitment to universal human rights standards. And an important element of any national action plan should be a commitment to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as other rights treaties that Malaysia has acceded to, including the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, Convention on the Right of the Child, and Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities. The action plan would provide the government with an invaluable mechanism for evaluating the extent of implementation of its obligations under treaties to which it is a party. It would also enable the development of a coherent strategy to implement remaining obligations under these treaties. SeHAM would also hope that there would be a possibility for the government to ratify the remaining 6 other human rights treaties. Our National Action Plan need not have to reinvent the wheel, but build on existing institutions, mechanisms, processes, regulatory rules, tools, and etc. The action plan should complement other national efforts and plans such as the 11th Malaysia Plan, UPR Action Plan, national policies with regard to women, protection of children as well as persons with disabilities, and not to forget the recent Sustainable Development Goals, which was agreed upon by 193 countries recently, including India. A successful plan, according to from the point of view of SeHAM, should find the support of all sectors and groups, and would essentially highlight Malaysia's ability and right, and this would allow us the ability and right to play a much bigger role, have a much bigger voice in the international arena, due to the fact we have successfully managed and operationalized, together with the support of our people, all aspects of human rights development. As we go to a developed status as a country, this is a basic requirement that we must achieve. We cannot be developed if we do not have an action plan that is operationalized and we would have to have the support of all the people of this country. And acknowledging that the government has the leading role in developing the action plan, all stakeholders, including civil society organizations, must play their part in the process for a truly collective effort. Based on the information received during the last steering committee meeting in 2016 in May, at least 10 consultation sessions with stakeholders were held by the consultants throughout Malaysia from May to July 2016. We need to know at this seminar how comprehensive and how thorough have these consultations been. CSOs must continue their consultation processes. And in this context, SeHAM has recommended many times for CSOs to be part of the NHRAP steering committee, because we believe it is crucial that the government recognize the important role of CSOs in the effort towards an action plan, especially as these organizations are involved at the grassroots level and are very aware of the realities on the ground. CSOs are expected to play their role, and I am not convinced that so far they have played their role. But they must play their role in monitoring the implementation of the action plan and provide an independent evaluation to us and to the government. SeHAM is looking forward to participating in a roundtable discussion which is targeted to be held in October this year by the consultant to discuss issues and findings based on the consultation processes which have taken place. Today's seminar is an example of the deliberations that need to take place in ensuring that an NHRAP, which is going to be implemented, is effective and meaningful, with a view to bring about positive change in advancing the rights of people of our country, strengthening human rights protection, and turning aspirations into reality. This is a true commitment. It calls for hard work from all parties, and SeHAM also has to put its back to the wheel and move the processes. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the United Committee of the Senate, we would like to thank Young Rajamanickam for the very insightful talk and speech and guidelines given factors to be taken into account in developing the NHRAP, what needs to be done next, and all the advice.